Hey everyone, welcome to the video. Going over tomorrow, or today's, whenever you're watching this, MLB main slate for DraftKings. Going over my cheat sheet. Anyway, before we continue, if you could leave a like, subscribe to the channel, I really appreciate that. You can also follow me on Twitter at ChrisPinell16. And if you want access to some extra stuff, I do articles on weekdays. I don't do the article on the weekends for MLB. But then we have this cheat sheet here, the pitching model, the hitting model, projections, all that good stuff, and Slack chat, which, Slack chat's I think it's pretty awesome. You can talk to me all day, ask me any questions you want, and just really a fun place to hang out. We pretty much talk all day on there. But yeah, so put the link in the description below for Patreon. It'll take you here, and then you can your pick. I'm not gonna go too much into this because I do it every day, but you guys get the idea now. UFC, our UFC guy took down first place again. NASCAR, we had a guy who won 20K yesterday in the Chrome Horn. He took down the Chrome Horn, and PGA went really well. So. And then we have NFL coming out in September. Already prepping all that stuff. Very excited for NFL. It's the most popular DFS sport, so very excited for that. And then MLB and the All Access, which we've actually had a lot of people sign up for the All Access. I think over 50% of the people. We got over 60 members already, so very excited. It's growing, so I'd love to keep growing it. So appreciate everyone on Patreon, and I appreciate everyone on YouTube too. So anyway, let's get into the cheat sheet. So this is out really early today. I got a head start on it because I had nothing else to do today. So anyway, let's get into it. Lucas Giolito is leading the way at SP1, although I do like James Paxton at SP1 too. It just depends how much you want to save. But let's talk about Giolito first, 11,800. Then I will say Castillo is on the slate too. I don't mind him either, but I like Giolito's spot better. We have two good ace options. I just said that. But Gio draws the softer matchup versus Kansas City. He's cooled off recently, but versus KC the past two times he's scored 40 and 33 points. And his K rate's up. And if we look at a sneak preview of the pitching model, he's my highest projected pitcher. He's been pitching well this season, 30% K rate. Walk rate's a little high, but hey, we'll live. But not getting any hard contact at all. He's leading the slate in the least amount of hard contact allowed, which is what we like to see. And also got his splits versus lefties, righties. Vegas obviously is not out yet because it's 5 p.m. But and then the opponent, and then we got projections on the end. So I have all that. And as you can see, Musgrove's a pretty good value option. He's popping up pretty high, and Paxton's right around there too. So anyway, that's what that looks like. And so we talked about Giolito. Let's get into Paxton now. I do like the savings we get off of him. We're going to need to save some money to get cores because this is a core slate. Paxton offers us ace upside at a discount. I know he hasn't been awesome recently, but actually the last game he was pretty good. I think he scored 27 points actually versus this same Rays team. And I do like lefties better versus the Rays. So I do think he could have some success here. I just really want 20 points and I'll be happy. Pair him up with Musgrove. We can pretty much do whatever we want with the bats. Just have to get a value option. But I do like Paxton tomorrow. And then Joe Musgrove at 5,800. He should be the more popular SP2 tomorrow. He had a stretch where he was good, then he was terrible, absolutely terrible, and then he's starting to get a little bit better now. So hopefully he just keeps on riding that wave. I think he scored 13 and 14 points last two games out, which I'll take that at 5,800 all day. And yeah, he's going to be a good way to get cores. It's a righty heavy cards team, so that profiles well for Musgrove as he struggles versus lefties. Then at catcher, we have Roberto Perez, 4,100. He's been elite this season versus lefties with an ISO above 300. And Norris doesn't generate a lot of swings and misses, so we're going to be able to square him up and put the ball in play. Just have to hope it doesn't go right to the fielders. And that bullpen is awful, too. They're at 509 xFIP, which I believe is worst in the MLB. I think Toronto's up there, too, and so is the Nationals, but I do think the Detroit bullpen is the worst. So do like the Indians tomorrow. Then Tony Wolters, 3,300, Coors Field, and Derek Rodriguez is on the mound with his ISO above 250% K rate versus these Rockies lefties. So all I have to say is good luck. And then John Hicks at 2,800. Putko is awful versus righties. He's allowing a 343 ISO. It's not the biggest sample size, but compared to 181 to lefties. So I do like the righties from Detroit, and Detroit's got a lot of righties. So I'm not interested in Putko. I know we usually like using righties versus Detroit, but I'm going to be staying away from this one. And I'd much rather go with, I feel much safer with Musgrove. But it could be a cheap home run spot for Hicks because we also really don't need much for value. So if he doesn't get a home run and he gets a couple hits, that'd be fine. And then at first base, we have Daniel Murphy at 4,900. They raised these Rockies prices. I think, was it 2 nights ago? They were actually pretty cheap. Murphy was 4,300, but deservedly so. They should be priced up here. So I'm not complaining, but don't need to get too much into it. But Rockies lefty versus Rodriguez. Brandon Belt, he's also in course, 4,400. We got Cheat Sheet on the mound for the Rockies. So there should be runs scored here for both teams. Love Belt versus righties, and he's been leading off recently. So we'll see if he continues that trend. And I believe he just homered a little bit ago. And then Jesus Aguilar at 4,100, always in play versus lefties, and much prefer the righties versus Fried. I think Fried's only allowing like an 087 ISO versus lefties, so I'm staying away from the lefties, but give me the righties. And then at second base, really not a position I like too much. I do like Eric Sogard though at 4,700, always like lefties versus Porcello as he struggled versus them in his career. Michael Broseo, 3,700. He's been hot. He was like 75% owned, and he homered today. I did put him in the comments that I moved on to him because he was batting fifth. So hope he didn't miss that. But Paxton's been hittable when it comes to righties with an ISO over 200. I do like Paxton, but he does have some flaws, and he does have a decently like a walk rate to them as well. So Brontosaurus Rex has been hot, and I do think he's in play at 3,700. I can't imagine much people are going to play him because I do think Paxton will have some ownership tomorrow. So maybe a nice GPP spot if Paxton comes out broken. And then Jose Altuve and Kipnis, I like both of these guys. Canning isn't a bad pitcher, but he does allow a good amount of power to both sides of the plate. And Altuve is just too cheap. I do like him better versus lefties, but I can't always get what I want. And for Jason Kipnis, Norris is bad versus both lefties and righties. And I actually believe his ISO is higher versus lefties. I have to double check that, but then the bullpen's going to come in anyway, so don't mind Kipnis. And then third base, we have Nolan Arenado, 5,200. Just load up the Rockies, lefties, righties, switch hitters, you name it. Everyone's in play here. And then Rafael Devers, 5,500. Like usual, no one's going to play him. No one ever plays him for some reason. But especially with Nolan Arenado being cheaper. So, I mean, I understand not wanting to play Devers too. But maybe a GPP spot, a good GPP spot versus Thornton, who really struggles with lefties. And then J-Ram and... we already talked about Broseu. J-Ram, though, like the Indians versus Norris and company. And already talked about Broseu. And then shortstop Trevor Story. I'll go a little bit more on J-Ram. I do like him better versus righties. But like I said, Norris just isn't very good. And then the bullpen's going to come in anyway. And at 4,100, he's just a little too cheap. And at shortstop, Trevor Story, 5,500. So if I'm forced to pick between Story and Nolan, I'm going to go Story with how much better he's been versus righties. This season, he's got a 287 ISO versus righties compared to a 177 to lefties. So if I had to pick one, I want to go with Story. If I could get both, that'd be awesome, but I understand that's hard to do, and I'd much rather play Blackman and Dahl over Arenado. No disrespect to Arenado, but just my opinion. Then Francisco Lindor, 4,900. I like these Indians versus righties better, like I just said, but they'll get the bullpen soon enough, and Norris is nothing to be scared about. And they always play better at home. And then Brandon Crawford, 3,700. Cheap lefty versus Chi-Chi and Coors. And then the high-end outfield, we have Charlie Blackmon, 5,500. He's the top play of the slate. Always pretty much is versus a righty in Coors Field. How good he is. I think he got 338 ISO versus righties this season, and that number goes even more in Coors Field. So just find a way to fit him in. Although it's very doable. I was actually playing around with some lineups, and say I go with Paxton and Musgrove, and I went Blackmon, Dahl, I still think I had over 4K salary per position, so it's very, very doable tomorrow. And then David Dahl, just a light version of Blackmon, and we get a little discount. In Bellinger, absolutely no one's going to play him tomorrow outside of people who are just fully stacking the Dodgers, which is the only reason I would play him, but I do like Bellinger in this spot. Can't imagine he's going to have much ownership, and the way to attack Eflin is with lefties, as he's giving up a 220 ISO to lefties. So I do like Bellinger, and he's been pretty much top 5 hitter in the league versus righties this season. Then mid-range outfield, Kevon Biggio, 4,500. Been very good versus right-handed pitching. I think his ISO is around 230, 236, I want to say. And Purcell is a guy who really gives up to lefties. Jock Peterson, 4,200. He's probably going to get the home run derby ownership boost, but hey, it's a good spot. Because I believe this is the first time he's played. He's going to play since the All-Star break because they've been facing lefties. So finally get a righty on the mound. And then Nick Castellanos, 4,200. Prefer him versus lefties, but Pleco's just been so bad versus righties, so he's going to be in play for me because he does have power upside. And as an Indians fan, I feel like Castellanos is always a thorn in our side, so don't mind Castellanos. And then in the value, I feel Jordan Luplow. This is a guy I really like a lot. People usually don't play him, but he's been elite versus lefties this season. He's below 4K. He's got 380 ISO versus lefties, and he comes in at a tremendous value, like I said, and he's just a cheap part of the Indian stack, and he usually bats cleanup versus lefties, so I do like Luplow a lot. And Michael Brantley, can't not list him. He's one of my favorite players in the league. He actually is my favorite player in the league. He's my DK logo if you've ever seen me in DK. But he's very cheap, and Kenny is allowing the highest fly ball rate to lefties on the entire slate at 36%, and a 230 ISO versus them. So I do think Brantley is in play. Then Benintendi, 4,300, cheap and a lefty on an elite offense versus Thornton, and a bad bullpen. I mean, I don't think Thornton's the worst pitcher in the world, but lefties I do prefer. Lefties can get to him. Then if we go to some of the core plays, I do have Joe Musgrove. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with high-end pitching. If I can spend up for Giolito, that'd be cool. Or if I just want to drop down 2 packs, then I'm fine with that. But I do want to get Musgrove in as my SP2. And then I like Blackman and Dahl as my outfielders. And the top stacks for me are going to be the Coors, Indians, Blue Jays, and I forgot to list the Dodgers lefties, which that's not good to do. Alright, so anyway, I think that's going to be it for the video. I'll fill the rest out for Patreon. I will do my article, and then, projections, all that good stuff, Slack chat. But, you already heard about that. But anyway, wish you guys the best of luck tomorrow. You can follow me on Twitter at ChrisPennell16. Remember to leave a like, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate that. And I hope you guys had a great day, and I hope you guys have a great week.